Hello student, as we are learning the principle and art of cure by homeopathy, the philosophical lectures written by Dr. H. A. Robert. Today we are going to learn the fourth chapter from this philosophy, titled as Vital Force as Expressed in Functions, in Health, in Disease, in Recovery and in Cure. In previous lecture we learnt the concept of vital force in homeopathy as the very inevitable part of our life. Life cannot exist without the spirit like vital force. Let us learn the actual lecture. Vital force as expressed in functions, how it function in health, in disease, in recovery and in cure. The life and composition of cells is of a complex nature. The composition of animal protoplasm is capable of analysis, yet there is in each cell and its life function that which is beyond our comprehension and defied analysis. Yes, you know the life and composition of cell. In previous lecture we learned that the unit of life is cell, and whatever is the functions performed in life, that is growth, metabolism, the requirement of nutrients, then the respiration, excretion and also reproduction. All these functions performed by each and every cell, isn't it? And as life as whole, while we are able to observe the structure of cell under microscope. The structure of cell, you know, there is nucleus in the center, centrosome you can say, and in the outer field is a vital field, which is nothing but the protoplasm. In protoplasm there are various other factors are there, that like Golgi complex, droplets, then mitochondria, etc. and this vital field. But as a live cell, how the cell perform, it is only an assumption. We can't see beyond our limitation, and we only assume that, and we try to comprehend, we try to understand how the cell would be act, but there are limitations for our comprehension, and therefore beyond our comprehension and defied analysis. Defied means it is a very challenging. It is very challenging analysis of the function of the cell, because we can't see beyond, we can't observe the very subtle and fine mechanism or phenomena occurred at the cellular level. Have you got it? And therefore the life and composition of cell is of a complex nature. It is very complicated in nature. We try to understand at our level best, still there are some limitations. We cannot as yet fathom the reason why a human ovum takes on growth and development only when the spermatozoa embeds itself deep in its innermost nuclei. Yes, we know the new life is started or new life is developed, that is a fetus is developed after the union of the sperm and ovum, but we cannot as yet fathom. Fathom means it is a understanding. This we until and until we can't have a knowledge why only this life begins to start, or the why the zygote is formed and how this zygote transfer to various stages of the development, and at last it resulted into full term fetus and a very individual life. Yes, otherwise the human ovum is totally dead. And why this process is only start after the development, why this process is start and this growth and development only when the spermatozoa embeds means it is fixed deeply. Yes, fixed deeply means there is a fertilization. Why this growth or why this life begin to start, why this development and growth begin to start after the union of this sperm and ovum. We only observe the phenomena, we only explain the phenomena, but we can't explain the reason behind this. Isn't it? There are limitations of our own. We can't explain the phenomena of nature. We only observe what happened, but why it is happened we can't explain. Isn't it? And whenever this nucleus of the sperm embed itself deep in its innermost nuclei, that is the innermost nuclei of the ovum, we only know that it possesses some hidden vital function that compel it to develop and grow. Yes, we only explain this phenomena that yes, it is happen, it is because of some hidden vital function. Yes, some hidden vital functions are there, some energy is responsible for this development, and this that force that compels means the force to do something, or the force to do something according or in a particular direction, that after the union of the human ovum and human sperm, it is only resulted into the development of human being. Isn't it? These various stages performed by the fertilized ovum and it resulted into the full term fetus. Yes, we only observe the phenomena, how it is happen, we explain up to this limit, but you can't explain what vital functions and why this or how this happened. Isn't it? Why this happened? The power of each life to develop from the single ovum into its own ego. Yes, the power of each life to develop from a single ovum into its own ego. Yes, ego means self-esteem or self-importance. That means from a single ovum, the single ovum of the human being, which has a power to develop the life with self-esteem and self-ego or self-importance. That is, a personality is developed out of this ovum, which unfolding and expressing itself forever in its own way. Yes, it is unfolding means it is open gradually, or it is gradually developed. Then it is gradually developed and expressing itself for ever in its way. Yes, it is a very different personality. The individual person developed from this fertilized ovum, which is developed gradually according to whatever is according to the this chromosomal pattern, you can say the DNA which encoded his life, isn't it? Which is gradually developed and expressing itself forever in its own way and individuality. Every person developed from the single cell and the single cell ovum, and after the fertilization these develop in a specific personality, you can say, and the individual person is developed, never varying from the ideal that is once time. Yes, it is whatever is the characteristic feature carried by this individual, it is not a very different way, but it is carried forward from the parental cell. It is it, and once it is stamped, that means once it is decided, it is determined, then it never get changed. To carry out to its perfection all the powers of the adult life, and whatever is the genes he received, and how, and whatever is the characteristic develop, or how the chromosomal pattern he has, he develop accordingly and reach to the adult life. And after adult life he also able to transfer this life through the sperm, and again the new generation or the next generation going to develop, isn't it? It is a cycle of life, it is a cycle of transfer of the vital energy, isn't it? And therefore to carry out to its perfection all the powers of adult life, distinguishing it from all other created species in a marvel until we comprehend the principle of the vital force or energy permeating all creating things. Yes, this vital energy is responsible for the very wonderful functions, isn't it? These are the very wonderful functions that human being is able to reproduce the human life only, and similarly the other species are also able to produce their you can say new life, newborn baby according to their characteristic of their species. Have you got this? And the only energy is responsible for this, it is a vital force. This energy which is not created, not destroyed, but it is transferred from one form to another form. That power, although defying analysis, nevertheless continues all through life as a mysterious manifestation of the vital functions. Yes, you know, the power, vital power, the vital energy, although defying analysis, it is very challenging analysis, it is very difficult analysis, while that means you can't analyze how this all functions of the life is carried out, and how the nevertheless continue all through the life, and it continue throughout the life as a mysterious manifestation. Yes, it is very mysterious manifestation, very wonderful manifestation, and manifestation of the function. It is the close study of these vital functions that becomes the chief study of the physician. Yes, in human body the various systems are there. Yes, it is a these internal organs are there, and then it is a picture of the circulatory system. Along with circulatory system there is a nervous system is there, the skeletal system. That means the different systems are organized in one human body, isn't it? And the function of each and every system is very determined and predetermined and very definite way, isn't it? Still all the functions, sensation and function of the human being, these are operate in a harmonious way, in coordination and cooperation with the each and every system. Each and every system is depending on each other. It is as it is, still it is a separate unit, isn't it? And it is a very mysterious functions of the vital functions carried out by the vital force, and therefore yet these physiological symptoms are common in each and every individual. Still there is individuality of the function is maintained. This internal organ and this internal organ, these all act in a cooperation and in coordination with each other, and therefore it is important to know these individual functions or this individuality of each and every function of the individual. In order to obtain a thorough knowledge of these vital functions, we must study them in their manifestations during health. Yes, if you want to study, then you collect the symptom, or there are the symptom of disease, there are the symptom of health also, isn't it? And you must have a knowledge how the person perform all the sensation and function whenever he is in a state of health. That is to know the symptom normal physiological function. These are termed as health. You know, the health is a balanced state, isn't it? It is a balanced state of the body and mind of an individual. And so long as we are in a positive health, we enjoy normal sensation and function, because both the body and mind work in a harmonious way, being controlled by the immaterial vital force or the vital principle. And you know that it is very popular proverb, the health is wealth, and therefore it is as a physician, our sacred duty is to take care of the health of the individual or take care of the public health, isn't it? And in Organon of Medicine, Hahnemann emphasizes on this concept of health. Hahnemann says that physician must also be the preserver of health, and for this preservation of the health, this requires a thorough knowledge of all branches of medicine, including hygiene and public health, and therefore you have a thorough knowledge of the vital function. We must study them in their manifestation during health. From the earliest period of its existence, growth is manifest from within the cell out. It is never observed growing from without. The one point most vital the one point most vital to observe is the course and direction of its expression, always from within outward. This is true in the embryonic state and is always maintained as long as life exists. Yes, after fertilization, whenever the zygote is formed, the zygote undergoes the very rapid multiplication of the cell, the morula, blastula, these are formed, and then the three germinal layers are formed. These three germinal layers, that is the endoderm, ectoderm and mesoderm, and this life is developed from the center. This neural plate is developed from the center of this endoderm, isn't it? And therefore you can say the direction of the growth is from within outward. It is not from outward to within. And the best example, when you study the embryonic state development of this embryo, you can observe that life is started from within outward. It is equally true in the specialization of function. Yes, these functions are also, the important functions lies in a center, and it is developed from center to periphery. The special organs are developed and their functions maintained by the expression of the vital energy as the life giving principle. Yes, this vital force also, whatever is a sensation functions occurred, these are all reflected outwardly. All expression of the mind are such manifestation. Indeed, that means it originated in the center and then outwardly expressed. Indeed, it is the expression of the vital force in and through the mind and intellect that has a very great influence in the functioning of all life and all special organs. Yes, this vital force which react through the brain, you can say that it is a dynamic function which operate through the dynamic organ, that is the brain. What do you mean by intellect? Intellect is in a simple term, intellect is the ability to use the mind creatively. Yes, it is a definition of intellect with in the whenever, or it is a not in healthy person. In healthy person, it is use of mind creatively. It is a symbol of the intellect, how the brain is function. It is a creation is there. Have you got this? And whenever this creation is in terms of the sense organ, that is a vision, hearing, taste, smelling and touch. Whenever all these functions are performed in coordination by the application of the intellect, and this one of the one more expression of this intellect is there is a maintain the balance between the emotion and intellect. Then it is a function of intellect also, maintain the balance between emotion and intellect. Then whatever is the inputs are there through the sense organ, there is a proper response from the brain, and it is creative response. Have you got this? And whenever it is a balanced state, there is a balance maintained in the all the sense organ, very intellectually and intellectual response, very creative response by the vital energy, vital force through the media of brain, then we can enjoy the health, isn't it? This balance is the maintenance of the balance is very much important, and it is only possible by the application of intellect, and therefore indeed it is the expression of the vital force in and through the mind and intellect. Yes, mind is it is dynamic in nature, while mind it is operate through the dynamic brain, and that has a very great influence in the functioning of all life. Yes, it is how our brain is function, how our mind is operate, this sensation and function of the mind on which our whole life is depending on. In health, all expressions of vital force may be expressed by perfect functioning. Yes, in healthy state, all these sensation and functions are conducting in a perfect balance or perfectly very. All the sensations are operated in a perfect way of all parts of the body, and by a sense of general well-being. And whenever all sense organs are functioning perfectly, then we can enjoy the health. There is a sense of well-being, and whenever there is a sense of well-being, we can enjoy our health. In disease, this expression is vastly changed. Yes, whatever the sensations and functions in a balanced state, there is a deviation from this state of health, and this expression is vastly changed. There is a sense of discomfort. Yes, there is no ease, therefore it is dis-ease, no sensation of well-being, and therefore there is discomfort. The mental expressions are vastly altered according to the degree of disturbances. Yes, these mental expressions are also imbalanced state, and these are all get altered. There is no balance in emotion and intellect. There is no balance in all sense organs and brain and intellect, and therefore all the functions are get disturbed and distorted. Physical signs and symptom appear. Then after the mental plane affected, then the symptoms appear on the physical plane. Physical signs and symptoms appear, and all because the vital functions are disturbed, either from external expressions having a depressing effect. Yes, this mental plane, the symptoms whatever appear on the mental plane, then there is a altered sensation and function at the physical level, and all the normal physiological functions get disturbed and express outwardly, having a depressing effect. It is a alteration from the state of it, deviation, and the consequent reaction of the vital force, or from some hidden miasm coming into its full expression in its impress on the vital force. Yes, whatever is this or in disease, in disease state there is a derangement of the vital force by the dynamic disease force, and this dynamic disease force, whenever this person or this vital force get deranged by this force, it react according to the predetermined plan. Each and every individual react to this disease force according to the predetermined plan. The predetermined plan, that is a diathesis, and this diathesis, which is nothing but some hidden miasm. This hidden miasm which he received from his parents, isn't it? Whatever is the miasm received from the parents, coming into its full expression, whatever is the miasm which is remained hidden or latent, now it expressed in its own way. External impressions having a profound effect upon the vital force are such circumstances as the shock of sudden news, either bad news or joyful news, or severe fright such as the shell shock we see with our soldiers, long mental and physical strains, and various other reactions. Yes, this external impression from the surrounding, or you can say it is a exciting or maintaining cause from the surrounding, these having a profound effect upon the vital force, such as the circumstances. These are the example of exciting cause: the shock of sudden news, either bad news and joyful news also. These are all affected with the acute disease or severe fright, such as the shell shock. Shell shock, that is, it is continuously bombarding of these to break the shell, and it is a maintaining cause. We see with our soldiers. You know the life of soldier. Whenever the soldier is on a border, he was continuously exposed the very adverse surrounding, adverse circumstances. Every time he lives in a tension, or there is a continuous strain and stress is there, and therefore it break the shell, and the long mental and physical strain and of various other reactions. Yes, that means the continuous strain and stress whenever any person remain or live his life under a continuous strain and stress, it definitely, once the limitation is break down, and he may suffer from the chronic disease. All these external forces, when in conjunction with an already disturbed vital force. Yes, this already disturbed vital force, it is a susceptibility which created by the person to receive the disease, and then only these external forces can affect the personality, affect the vital force of that particular individual. Although otherwise, whenever the vital force is in a total healthy state, He can very well digest all the assault from the outside. He can very well react and very balanced reaction to the any external adverse situation. But being human, there is a limitation to tolerate all this stressful condition continuously, and a point at a point there is a breakdown of all these limitations, and the person gets susceptible to receive this all external stimuli very adversely. Therefore, all these adverse external forces, when in conjunction with an already disturbed vital force, have very profound effect upon the vital functions. Then this adverse situation, this sensation, adverse sensation which are created because of the adverse situation, whenever the person is susceptible, it affects very badly upon the vital function, and there is a alteration in sensation and vital function. They are manifested in a trail of symptoms which are expressed in different way in varying individual, and the train of symptoms is developed, and it is according to their predetermined pattern, that is according to their diathesis, according to their miasm. Different types of symptoms are expressed in different individual. Likewise, the vital function in its manifestation often shows the effect of inherited miasms and dyscrasia, where the protozoon has become vitiated by disease process in the antecedents, and its perfect form and possibilities of development are thereby impaired. Yes, likewise, the vital function in its manifestation often shows the effect of inherited miasm and dyscrasia. Let us understand that every person has their own miasm which he received from his parents, and the dyscrasia, these are all remain latent in a dormant state, and where the protozoans has become vitiated. Vitiated means it is get affected or spoiled or become impure by disease. It is get the very badly affected, isn't it, by the disease process in the antecedents. Antecedents means it is the whatever is the event existed previously. The process in the antecedent, that means whatever is the event existed before in their parent life also, these are all carried forward and the dyscrasia develop, and its perfect form and possibilities of development are thereby impaired, and therefore the different type of diseases are developed. The process of development may go on until such time as some disturbing element, as excessive joy, fright or anger, or some of the zymotic diseases. Such type of disease processes get start and disturb the element. That means the previously there is a latent dormant miasm is there, which is affected by, or these antecedent means whatever the effect or the event existed in their parents' life or in their own life also, which is previously occurred, and all these responsible for the development of the disease. This process of development may go until such time as some disturbing element, as excessive joy, fright and anger, and these are the all exciting causes, may resulted into the disease, or some of the zymotic disease. Zymotic disease means it is the acute infection. This term used for the acute infection of the disease condition which is highly infectious in nature. This zymotic disease, this term is used for the infectious diseases, acute infectious diseases, isn't it, like typhoid, measles, cholera, chickenpox, etc. Comes in contact with the disturbed vital energy when it bursts forth into volcanic action. Yes, whenever these vital force exposed to this exciting cause, there is a outburst of this latent sora in a volcanic action. That is just like a volcano, it is sudden outburst, isn't it? And we see the manifestation of what we call acute disease, and it is termed as acute disease. It is a transient explosion of the latent miasm or the latent sora in form of group of symptoms whenever the vital force exposed to some any exciting cause and any adverse situation or circumstances. Whenever this explosion of the latent sora, we can call it is a acute disease. You know the characteristic feature of the acute disease. It's a sudden onset, rapid progress, and it has time period moderation. This sudden outburst in a volcanic form is called as a acute disease. Sometimes these come as the first outward and visible sign of a disturbed vital energy. Yes, you know, it is a first outward visible sign. Yes, it is the first outward visible sign of a disturbed vital energy. It is analogous to the disturbance that takes place in waters, pond and reservoir. Yes, this H. Robert compare this volcanic type of outburst of the latent miasm or latent sora or the disturbed vital energy, which it is analogous to the disturbance takes place in waters, pond and reservoir when they suddenly begins to heave seemingly without cause. Yes, heave means to raise or to lift. Sometime whatever there is a sudden outburst, or you can say the raise the wave seemingly without cause, or throw upward their pathogenetic formation, becoming exceedingly oily to spend their effort on this saprolytic action and so set in motion a clarifying process. Yes, it is quite difficult to understand. That means as there is some changes occur in the waters, pond and reservoir. Yes, normally there is no abnormal situation is there, but suddenly becoming exceedingly oily. There is a it may be throw upward their pathogenetic formation. Yes, some pathogens are developed under the water and they becoming exceedingly oily. There is a layer of oil is developed because of this disease condition under the water level, isn't it? To spend their effort on this saprolytic action, and this exceedingly oily layer can hamper the effort on this saprolytic action. What do you mean by saprolytic action? It is recycle organic material in soil, breaking it down into a simple compound from decaying organic material. That the saprolytic action is continuously going on in water, which purify and clarify the process, isn't it? While it is this clarifying process is get hampered because of this pathogenetic formation which hamper the saprolytic action in water. The same thing is happen in human being. Whatever is a normal sensation and function, that is a saprolytic action, is totally hampered because of this derangement or the vital force, because of the dynamic disease force. So it is with this manifestation in miasmatic conditions, a blooming or explosion of these acute disease is nature's method of attempting to get rid the system of these fundamental miasm that have been long buried. Yes, whatever is a miasm is latent form in a or in a dormant form, there is an explosion because of this, any assault or any exciting cause, isn't it? And it is the nature's method of attempting to rid the system, yes, in order to conquer on this exciting cause. Such type of symptoms are developed because of the vital force, you can say. So it is with this manifestation in miasmatic condition, a blooming or explosion of this acute disease, it is nature's method to attempting to rid, to make free the system of this fundamental miasm. Yes, because of this explosion of the latent miasm or dormant miasm, this explosion made to rid means to make free the system, make free the organism from the load of the miasm which have been long buried, and therefore you can say acute diseases are beneficial for the human life, isn't it? Whenever these are in control, it is good because it is a response to the adverse situation. It is a prompt response to the adverse situation, and it is good to quiescent the fundamental miasm. These manifestations offer to the homeopathic physician a unique opportunity to learn of the indicated remedy. Yes, whenever there is an outburst of or a person in an acute condition, H.A. Roberts says it is a good opportunity to learn of the indicated remedy, to learn the that personality, because at the close of the acute manifestation, nature cried out most loudly and points the direction most clearly, because in this time symptoms are produced that are of inestimable value in the selection of the constitutional remedy. Yes, during the acute attack and during the convalescence period, whatever is the symptoms, these are all the constitutional symptom of the person, and it is very inestimable value. It is very important time to collect the symptom and select the constitutional remedy to quiescent the miasm or dyscrasia of that particular individual patient. This disease state or disturbed state of the vital function present very extensive and exceedingly variable external manifestation, and the homeopathic physician must devote much time to their study. Yes, it is very important. The disease state or disturbed state of the vital function present very extensive means it is whatever is a symptom which we get without, or the large symptom we get from the minimum labor. We very easily collect the symptom in acute attack, and exceedingly means extremely. These are extremely variable external manifestations, and the homeopathic physician must devote much time to their study, and homeopathic physician definitely study the all these situations which occurred in acute condition and during the convalescence period in order to select the constitutional remedy. The vital force is always attempting to recover from disease state. Yes, vital force combat with the disease force and desire to recover by and through its own energy. Isn't it? Whenever the acute manifestation is not much violent in nature. In the acute manifestations, the vital functions are often restored to complete harmony by and through their own power, and it is not noteworthy to observe the disappearance of symptom in the reverse order of their appearance. Yes, during this natural recovery by and through its own energy of vital force, whenever we observe very keenly, it is important to observe that how the disappearance of the symptoms is occurred. It is always occurred in the reverse order of their appearance. Yes, note it down. By nature also, in acute condition, in acute manifestation of the disease, the symptoms are disappear in the reverse order of their appearance. This is well illustrated by the course of the appearance of symptom in such manifestation as eruptive fever, the rash appearing last in the first symptom to appear. Is to last to disappear. Yes, in eruptive fever. You know various type of eruptive fever. Let us take the example. The eruptive fever, it is just a kind of you can say viral infection which is commencement with the cough and easy uneasiness, then there is a running of nose and the temperature, then the fever, and lastly the rashes appear. It is a rash, measles, or the chicken pox. Whenever there is a skin eruption is occurred in along with fever, it is called the eruptive fever. And this is well illustrated by the course of the appearance of the symptom in such manifestation as eruptive fever. The rash appearing last is the first symptom to disappear. That means whatever is the symptom appear last, it is a skin eruption. I have got this, and is the last to disappear. The cough of measles being the first symptom to appear is the last to disappear. That whatever is the symptom appear first, it disappear at lastly. That is a reverse order. First there is a disappearance of this rash, then temperature goes on decreasing, then this cough will disappear, and last it is the symptom which disappear in lastly. Have got this? That means it is a reverse order of the appearance of the symptom. We very well observed in natural process, isn't it? In natural process, the skin eruption appear lastly, therefore it is the symptom which disappear firstly whenever the cure process is onset. This order is always maintained in invasion and recession of symptom when the vital force is able to establish complete restoration of normal vital function. Yes, it is a role of vital force in cure. This order is always maintained. This order, that means the reverse order of the disappearance of the symptom, is always maintaining invasion and recession of symptom. That means the appearance and disappearance of the symptom. when the vital force is able to establish complete restoration of the normal vital function. Whenever the vital force tries to restore by and through its own energy, such type of mechanism is established by the vital force. It is not a haphazard way, but it is in a very regular course. Let us take the next example, next paragraph. Acute diseases may take on various forms. The assault may be so great as to destroy life in a short time. Sometimes acute disease is very much violent in nature, and because of this assault there is a destroy of life in a short time. The vital force may be so overcome as to be unable to strive successfully against the combination of outward and inward assault and is completely destroyed. Yes, this vital force is very badly overcome by the exciting cause. As the disease force is very much strong, the very strong response given by the vital force from internally, and therefore the outward violent force and inward response from the inward assault, you can say the inward response. In combination of these both, there is a total destruction of the life. On the other hand, it may be able to overcome the disease condition without outside help by crisis. But when this happens, there is such a drain on the vital energy that it is a decided energy to the life-giving forces. Yes, yet in case of acute disease, vital force has enough energy to recover from this crisis, but during this process there is a much drain of the vital energy. Yes, whenever vital force combat with the disease force by its own energy without the help of outside help, without the help of any medicine, then there is a very tremendous drain of the vital energy, that is a decided energy of to the life giving forces, and therefore it is very the lifelong damage occur to this life energy. The convalescence period may be very long and very serious afterward effects are there. Because the sacrifice of fluid when crisis takes place, there is a lowering of the physical power of the patient. Yes, this sacrifice of the fluid means the elimination in form of fluid may be settled down to combat with the disease force. For example, in case of diarrhea and dysentery, all these toxins are eliminated from the vital force, and this mechanism is initiated or settled down by the vital force against the disease force. And when crisis takes place, there is a lowering of the physical power. Because of this draining of the much fluid from the body, there is a lowering of the physical power, the physical weakness is occurred. And whenever this physical weakness is there, and here again his very life is in danger, and this whenever it is not get corrected promptly, then it is totally danger to the life of the patient, because there is a tremendous physical weakness, and the person is the human body is in a shock, isn't it? And this dehydration or the whatever is a sacrifice of the fluid, that is draining of this vital fluid from the body, definitely it is danger to the life of the patient, and therefore you have to give the medicinal aid to the patient in acute condition also, as it is a characteristic feature of the acute diseases. It may cure by and through its own energy, while sometime whenever the disease force is violent in nature, then you definitely help the patient with the proper medicinal treatment. Okay, here we finish the lecture of today. The subsequent portion we will continue in a next lecture. Okay, thank you.